Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So today I got a super fun and exciting video for you guys today because we're taking a look at DOSBox Pure Unleashed. Now this recently came out about 24 hours ago as of the recording of this video, and it is no longer dependent on RetroArch whatsoever. DOSBox Pure Unleashed is going to be a standalone application to allow you to run basically almost the entirety of retro gaming on PCs. It's one of those things, DOSBox has been around for a long time, but this is a fork of that project that's going to streamline a ton of things, have a ton of quality of life improvements, and just make it that much easier for you to enjoy some retro PC games on your modern systems today. I'm definitely going to go over a lot of the feature set and how to get this, but before we get too far involved, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we've got a Patreon link down below as well. But honestly, DOSBox has been around for a long time and it's always been a great application, but DOSBox Pure basically streamlines a lot of it and gets you up and running that much easier and that much more efficiently. And trust me, if you don't try to play retro PC games in your modern systems, or you don't keep around a bunch of retro PCs in the closet for when you want to play like I do, getting these games to run on modern operating systems without some sort of application in between can be an absolute exercise in futility and massive frustration. There's just so many amazing retro PC games you want to play from back in the day, but trying to get them to run without something like DOSBox Pure can be absolutely a minefield mess. You will spend more time getting games to run than you'll actually spend playing them, and that kind of takes all the fun out of the equation. So something like DOSBox Pure Unleashed kind of basically takes everything, it holds your hand and does it on easy mode, so you can just jump in and play the games that you know, love, and remember from back in the day in a much easier manner. We're talking about a lot of different generations of games we're going to be dealing with here. Now, in the description below, I left the link to the itch.io page where this has been released as of like 12 hours ago, but it's also available on GitHub, and I left that link down below for you as well. And honestly, from the overall UI and just how easy this is to deal with, I think everyone's going to be able to jump in quickly. You have full controller rebinds for 4 different controllers right in the controller mapper, so you're going to be able to basically set this and just forget it. You can use mouse and keyboard, you can use a control pad, anything that will interface with Windows 10 or 11 is going to be totally fine. And depending on what game you're playing, you might want to play around with that. And we'll definitely dive into the systems menu a little bit deeper later on in the video, but there's so many different granular settings here, stuff like 3D emulation for different cards, different memory allocations, and a lot of other things you can articulate. But the nice thing is, for the most part, the default settings are going to get you into games, and it is going to auto-detect and run everything fine. And the nice thing is, you don't even need to unzip your games. You can go ahead and execute them from zip. It'll uncompress them basically in real time, deal with the files, and you don't need to worry about anything else. You just put your games into a folder, go ahead and navigate to that folder, double click the exe, and you're playing something like Doom 2 right off the bat with no issues. And that really is the nice thing about DOSBox Pure. It basically just allows you to sit down and have fun. If you can go ahead and move a file from one place to another, and you can double click an executable file in a list, you can sit down and play all these DOS games to your heart's content. And if you grew up in DOS, the Windows 95 and Windows 98 era, you're going to know that there are a ton of different fun games out there. And even though this is called DOSBox Pure, that does not mean it's only dealing with DOS. You can put operating systems on here, you can run games from different eras. It's going to be basically all-encompassing to the point in time where you get to Windows PCs with games you can run today with no issues on Windows 10 or 11. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me what's your favorite DOS game from back in the day. Even though I didn't feature it on this video because I always do and I figured I'd change it up, Rise of the Triad will always be that one game I so fondly remember from being a kid. But that's the thing, I grew up on DOS. My first PC in my room was a 486DX66, so I definitely had a lot of fun with this. But the nice thing is, you don't need to really know how to use DOS or a command line. You're double clicking things and they are just running. Now there is a command line available, you can install virtual hard drives and everything else, but if you want to just ignore all of that and go ahead and have fun, you are totally fine. And the itch.io page is going to have all of the different directions, but I'll go over some of the really nice things. You're going to have 3D Voodoo emulation for that glide wrapper, and by default it's going to work in OpenGL and transpose all of those different 3D calls and APIs to your modern GPU. Now I did this on an NVIDIA card, but it should be perfectly fine on AMD as well, and honestly that is a nice thing because trying to get glide games running without some sort of translation layer in between can be an absolute pain in the ass. The other nice thing is you're going to have the ability to have MIDI playback so long as you add the sound fonts, and you're also going to have full save states. And I really know how important save states are to a lot of people, and I totally get it. Even though a lot of games back in the day had quick save and quick load, there's some games that maybe you just want to go ahead and save exactly where you want. And even though I'm going to give you a soundtrack sample of Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis with the actual chip tunes and not the MIDI because I prefer them, this is one game where you will have MIDI support and it's absolutely going to sound incredible. And trust me, you don't want to get into collecting MIDI hardware for retro PCs. It's absolutely expensive and it takes a lot of time to set up. Trust me, I would know. Let's go into the first soundtrack sample so you know how good DOSBox Pure Unleashed sounds, and I'll be right back with a lot more details.
It's an old lecture hall desk. These books don't look familiar. Uh-oh. Better get that roof checked. Possibly an ancient Mesopotamian cat god. Looks pretty slippery.
I mean, that's exactly what this game should sound like, both to the music and to the sound effects if you're not using MIDI, and if you wanted to use MIDI, that would be available. And if for some strange reason you've never played this game before and you're even tangentially interested in point-and-click adventure games, this is a 10 out of 10 all day long. But that's the fun thing about DOSBox Pure Unleashed. You can kind of pick and choose whatever generation you want to play. If you didn't grow up with these games, you can totally jump over to the OpenGL stuff, you can jump over to the Voodoo stuff, Windows 95 and related. This basically just covers an entirety of an era of PC gaming, and I'll go over some of the options in just a moment so you know where they are and you understand how everything will work. Now, do be aware this isn't really a tutorial, it's more of an overview, so if you want to see an in-depth tutorial on DOSBox Pure Unleashed, leave me a comment down below. You'll see here in the actual system menu, you're going to have a lot of different options, and for the most part, those are going to be stuff you can completely ignore and not touch whatsoever. But in the actual performance tab, I recommend leaving it on auto. You can set different CPUs and different generations, but auto means that it's going to basically try to auto-detect exactly what you need it to be. Now, for the most part, this has been completely accurate for me. Only one game ran too fast, but you can see you can go all the way up to a Pentium 3 or AMD Athlon at 1.2 gigahertz, and you can go all the way back to an 8086 processor. So you kind of have so many different generations, including that 46DX right there, the 66 that I grew up with. And you'll see here you can also limit some of the CPU usage if you have issues. Now, in the video tab, again, I recommend leaving basically all this alone unless you get over into something like Windows installations where you'll have to give it those Glide actual drivers for the 3D effects cards. By default, it uses the 8 megabytes of memory. You can go to 12 megabytes in dual texture, but that is experimental and your mileage definitely will vary. And you'll see here it's going to run in hardware OpenGL. You can switch it over to software for that actual emulation for the Voodoo. I don't know why you would, but you definitely can, and you can even do stuff like CRT filters. Basically, the sky's the limit when it comes to options, and I would say 99 out of 100 games will just work perfectly off the top, but some games might require you to actually change a few settings around, because even though this is very streamlined, it is still dealing with DOS, Windows 95, and otherwise, and that can still be a slight minefield of figuring out exactly what one game wants. Like case in point here, Blood, 100% working fine, but I got Flicker. It's also going to be our second soundtrack sample, so listen, and I'll be right back with more. So why were those graphics flickering? I have absolutely no idea. I'd have to actually dig in and figure it out myself. So I want you to realize DOSBox Pure is like 99% just plug and play. Go ahead and double click a game and everything will work. But every once in a while you're going to have to go under the hood. So again, if you want that tutorial, leave me that comment down below. But honestly, this is just a great innovation in emulation and running old retro PC games. Whether they're the DOS era, whether they're Windows 95 or 98 era, whether they're going to be completely CPU usage for the overall graphics, DOSBox with just a regular 2D card, and whether you're going to use stuff like a Voodoo or Voodoo 2 with some of that emulation in between. Like I said, if you want to grab this, the link is in the description down below. It's going to be available for Windows, Mac, as well as Linux, so just pick your operating system of choice. Go ahead and start launching some games and start playing some retro PC gaming fun. But DOSBox Pure Unleashed, absolutely a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. And now that it's been removed from RetroArch, I think a lot more people are going to be interested. And again, if you want a full tutorial, leave me a comment down below and maybe I'll make you one for next weekend. But we're done. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me your favorite DOS game down below and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.